We are all of us stars and we deserve to twinkle. Marilyn Monroe said that, and I'm saying this. Welcome to High and Low. Good day and good night. Welcome to the High and Low NBA show. This is episode number 100 and Jason, aka episode number 198. Now, I'm not talking about Jason Voorhees of Friday the 13th fame. I'm surprised, actually, because Hollywood they're rebooting everything, and they haven't revived that series of movies.
Did they already do a reboot of that?
I feel like it was Halloween. They did Halloween.
Yeah, Halloween they did. But didn't they do like a light reboot where he was like in New York and all that stuff?
That was like 25 years ago.
Oh, man. Yeah, I don't know if they could take those slashers now.
Yeah, I mean, they did it with Scream, and that was pretty violent. The last Scream.
Really? Okay,
yeah,
I didn't watch it.
With Jenna Ortiz, yeah, it was pretty violent. So I feel like if you could do that, you could do Friday the 13th. Anyway, yeah, we're not talking about that, Jason. What was that? What was that classic line that Big Daddy Kane dropped? Friday the 13th, you can call me Jason.
Yeah.
Anyway, not talking about that, Jason. I'm talking about former NBA center Jason Collins, one half of the Collins twins. His brother being Jaren Collins, who also played in the league. Jason wore the number 98 towards the end of his career as a member of the Celtics and the Nets. He was a solid role player. His coaches, they could rely on Jason Collins to put a body on the opposing big while their starting center got some rest for a few minutes. But Jason Collins is best known for being the first active openly gay athlete in American sports, which was a bit of a surprise to many when he announced it in the cover story of a Sports Illustrated issue back in 2013. Jason Collins had been in an 8-year relationship with former WNBA player Carolyn Moose, and they were engaged to be married in 2009, but then Jason Collins called it off at the last second. And now we know why.
I didn't even know that.
But apparently, Carolyn Moose had no idea that Collins was gay. In fact, she only found out just before the Sports Illustrated issue was to come out.
Wow.
So,
yeah, that's rough. That's
tough, rough. Anyway, welcome to the show. My name is Ike Amaechi. I'm here with Ugo the Sheik.
Yeah.
And around here, we live by a principle governed by the high and low lives of the world, which means we talk about basketball, especially and specifically the NBA. And we talk about it at any time, anywhere, north, south, east, west, high and low. This week, we are back in paradise, enjoying the breeze and sunshine on Love Hate Island, where we only travel to just to share what we currently hate and what we currently love about the NBA. Actually, I can't wait to hear Ugo's. Can't wait to hear it.
Yeah, I got a few.
Oh, I know you do. I have some things to get off my chest, so let me cook too. I have some beef to put on the grill. Let it sizzle. And we have a great listener question this week, a question that had me thinking about these dog days of the NBA. So stay tuned for that. Before we lock in, let me check in.
Oh, hi. Thanks for checking in. I'm still a piece of garbage.
Ugo, how has your week been?
Ooh.
Good?
Well, yeah. I mean, we've had some bumps along the way the last week or two. Shout outs to a couple of individuals that we want to send love and support out to.
Absolutely.
Aside from that, there's been some good news too. My daughter's hooping now, so that's making me all giddy.
Oh, we got the applause in the back.
Oh, yeah. She's doing a camp, and I'm trying to resist my inner LeVar Ball when she's out there and whatnot. I had a nice conversation with her just tonight after her basketball camp, because she was really mad. A couple of girls had hit her in the face, and she was just upset. And she was just, she's like, Dad, I'm telling you, next week I'm there. they're going to know who I am. I'm going to make them pay. And part of me was kind of like, ooh, a little too intense. Maybe I should dial it back. And then another part of me, I was like,
It's perfect.
Yeah, okay, this matters to her. Right? And I said, okay, you know what, princess? Doesn't matter what happens next week. I'm still going to love you. Let out your inner Kobe. Right? I said, let's see where this goes. Right? So she's at that stage where I want her to, like, be a fighter. Right? And as much as I love being that, oh, daddy, come save me. It's like, you know what? I think it's time for you to start saving yourself, princess.
If you want to be the next Caitlin Clark or the next Kelsey Plum, you got to take some shots to the mouth and be able to get up.
Yeah. That's true. Brethren, she's watching like games on like YouTube and stuff and trying to study stuff. I'm like, what's going on here right now?
Love that. Love to hear that.
I just encourage it and just walk away, man. I was like, keep doing it.
I wish I had that in this household. Mine have turned their back on basketball and have completely moved over to soccer.
Oh,
it's like all I hear about is Mbappe all day. Mbappe.
Goodness. Yeah.
So
it might be late bloomers. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah. My son doesn't care about anything. At least yours got Mbappe. My son's like, whatever.
Hey, maybe he'll create the next Pixar,
Yeah, possible. With the stuff he's watching, I don't know, though.
No. Glad that the princess is hooping. Sounds like she's taking it seriously and sounds like it's intense. It's perfect. To me, that's perfect.
Yeah.
So, hey, man, congratulations. You might have a future WNBA player on your hand.
Yeah, or NBA.
Or NBA. Could be the first woman in the NBA.
Damn right.
But hey, Ugo, I appreciate your time this week. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you.
Listeners of the show, high and low lives of the world, thank you for joining us. I hope you're having a great week. We're here another week, another episode, because if there's more NBA, then of course there's more high and low. This week in NBA history,
KJ watched the sun set in Phoenix. On March 7th, 2001, the Phoenix Suns honored Kevin Johnson by retiring his number 7 jersey, marking the end of an illustrious 12-year career with the team. Known for his exceptional playmaking skills, Johnson retired as the 6th player on the NBA's all-time assists list, leaving a lasting legacy in Phoenix. Beyond his contributions on the court, Johnson also made significant strides off the court, particularly in his hometown of Sacramento. Following his NBA career, Johnson transitioned into politics, serving as the mayor of Sacramento from 2008 to 2016. During his tenure, he became the first Sacramento mayor to preside over the United States Conference of Mayors and received numerous accolades for his dedication to the city's growth and development. However, Johnson's time in the public eye was not without controversy. He faced allegations of sexual assault, as well as scrutiny over his real estate dealings in Sacramento. In a widely publicized incident in 2016, Johnson defended himself against an assailant who struck him with a pie.
It's called hentai, and it's art.
Resulting in the assailant's arrest on a felony charge of assaulting a public official.
Is that all?
Despite the challenges he faced, Kevin Johnson's impact on both the basketball court and the political arena remains indelible, leaving a lasting imprint on the communities he served.
Hey, that was a little something for the NBA history nerds. Things are certainly happening in the NBA, which is why you have questions and we have answers, so let's talk about it.
Let's talk about something important.
This week we have a question from Bigums in Thousand Oaks, California. Bigums, shout out to Bigums. His question is this. This might be the most boring part of the... Hold on a second. Hold on, let me reread this again. I love the phrasing. This might be the most boring part of the regular season schedule. The separation between good and bad are bigger than ever. Games feel like they matter less. Do you think the NBA should have started the in-season tournament at this point in the season? Oh, great question from Bigums from Thousand Oaks, California. Hey, and shout out to everyone living the life in Thousand Oaks. Actually, Ugo, before we jump into this question, I have to say, I slid down the rabbit hole of real estate listings in Thousand Oaks. And and some surrounding areas. My goodness, picturesque. Like, I mean, the homes were incredible. Classic architecture, the kind of homes that you would expect to see in any movie or TV show based in Southern California. So spacious, considering considering the price. Like, I saw a house in Westlake Village. I think it was Westlake Village, 4 bedrooms, 3 bath, 9,000 square foot lot.
Damn.
Right, and like a 2,000 square feet home. Mm-hmm. Honestly, if it was in like Toronto, Vancouver, maybe, well, it's impossible to see anything like that in New York because you don't have detached homes in New York.
Yeah.
If it was in any of those other markets, this house would cost maybe a kidney plus your firstborn.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, maybe a spleen, maybe some blood transfusions.
Possibly. I think it was like $900,000.
What?
For the house? U.S.
Come on.
Westlake Village. Yes, Westlake Village is not that far from Los Angeles. Like, it's like a suburb. Anyway, we digress. What do you think? What do you think of an in-season tournament starting in February rather than October, November?
I don't know. So I got beef with the NBA on this one, and it's going to be part of my love it, hate it thing. I'm sorry. Like, you want every single game, 82 games to matter? Every single game has to matter? Like it's like baseball, right? Like, baseball plays 62 games. Every game matters? Not really. You have ebbs and flows to a season, right? I just feel like the NBA wants all 82 games to have some epic, tragic, monumental meaning. And you can't do it with 82 games. You can't. That's the beauty of the NCAA, right? Final Four, March Madness. Every game matters. Why? Because if you lose, you go home. Period. Right? So if the NBA wants to be fancy and install something else, do the bottom teams March Madness style for the number 1 pick. Period.
Yeah.
Right? Forget the ping pong. Listen, nobody cares about the mystery of the ping pong balls. Everybody thinks it's rigged now anyway. Just say, hey, folks, now we're going to do a March Madness thing for the last 8 teams. You want the number 1 overall pick? Let's go. At worst, you get 8. At best, you get 1. Let's go. Right? Because the bottom 8, it doesn't matter at that point. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Nobody's crying if the number 8 team gets the number 1 overall pick. Like, who cares? Throw away the ping pong balls. Nobody cares about that crap anymore. You know what I mean?
So that means that because I'm just thinking about how you would seed that. If you're the 30th team, you'll probably have the worst seeding in a tournament.
Exactly.
So you can't tank because you put a bad roster on the floor, you're not getting that number 1 pick.
Exactly. It means something.
Yeah.
Right? You got to do something. If you want your team to be better, win 3 games.
Yeah.
Simple as that. If you can't win 3 games, fine, win 2 games. If you can't win any games, fine, you're the number 8 pick. Go nuts. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right? Make them, and at least, and you could do it in a way that says, okay, once you've locked in 1 to 10 on East and West, then you can say the rest of the games don't matter.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah. It's locked in, rest of the game. So if you and I know there's revenue and all this other stuff, right? But usually the top 10 is locked in at some point, right? And you know what, you might be saying seeding and stuff, but just say, listen, who cares about seeding, right? Once it's locked, that's it. Season's done. We don't have to play the last 10 games of the season or the last 5 games of the season or whatever it is, right? And then do that March Madness style at the end for revenue's sake. Let the players rest and then go into the playoffs and done. Yeah. And if you want to be fancy with it, move it to different cities then, right?
Yeah.
Move it there, move it here. Just move it around. Okay, now you got 8 NBA teams all together to do this little tournament over like a Saturday, Sunday, right? Perfect, right? Perfect, right? You have the interest. You can market it. You'll have a bunch of people jumping on it for branding and whatnot. And then if you want, you have your whatever week break, and then boom, you jump into the playoffs, right?
Yeah.
Right, but and move the trade deadline then, right? After All-Star, like everybody's all sour. Let's move the trade deadline then to after All-Star game. Then at least there's some interest to carry over.
Yeah, I mean, the trade deadline, it's just fluff though, man. Like, it's it's distracting us from the real issue, which is the product itself. And I totally agree with you. Like, I think the season is too long. Like, all the games just can't matter. It's impossible. 82 games. And you brought up baseball, which is 162, which is insane. Like, this is the time of year that most people start to feel this. These are the dog days of the NBA. I'm going to speak to some listeners right now. So some listeners, I know you're out there. You've played NBA 2K. Right? You've created your player from my career.
There you go.
Right?
Looks like you. Kind of.
It looks like you. You're living vicariously through this player. You set it up. You know, you're at the bottom of the Knicks depth chart.
Greatest innovation ever.
Amazing. It's like, let's put these guys in the NBA. Let's just, I want you to dream it through this game.
I think amazing props, man.
Oh my goodness.
Nobody else ever did it. Minute 2K did it, everybody did it.
My career. Perfect. But the thing is, it is exciting. It's exciting only to a point, because you play those games, you put up the numbers, you know, you go through the whole thing. You go through the stages, you get in the starting lineup, you know, you get named to the All-Star team, all this stuff, you know, you get player of the month, all this stuff. But the thing is, it becomes repetitive at a certain point.
Yep.
Right? And so the excitement that was there when you first picked up the game, first created your player, first, you know, played those first games, it's not there anymore. At a certain point in the season, like game 58, he's like, oh my goodness, it feels like a chore, and you're just doing this so you can get to the end of the season, so you can get to the postseason.
Yep.
And this is also the plight of the average NBA fan, because like the average NBA fan that is experiencing a real NBA season, game 59 for your team, it's like, oh, I just want to, can we just get to April, please? Like, we just want meaningful basketball, because the season's too long. And yeah, the in-season tournament, you drop it in at this point in the season, and I think it injects a bit of excitement. Yes. But it doesn't fix the bigger problem, which we're talking about, which is the season is just too long. So I like your tournament idea, but let me just add this one. Let me just see what you think about this. Because I think I've said it before. You shorten the season to 65 games. Scratch that. 55 games. 60 max, but 55 games.
Okay.
Right? Now, imagine NBA teams playing 2 to 3 games per week. And when I say 3 games, I mean that's every now and then. But so for the most part, 2 to 3 games, 2 games per week, October to April. Like the NFL, they own Sundays and Mondays, right? NBA should own Fridays and Saturdays. Maybe throw in a Wednesday, just like the NFL has Thursdays.
Yeah. But consistent days.
Consistent days. Fridays and Saturdays, we know that we get to watch hoops on TV, on TNT.
You gonna watch on a Friday night?
You know, certain fans will. For me, the games that I always prioritize, at least to watch live and in person, always Friday night games.
Really?
Always. Oh, okay. Easily, because I can make a night of it. I can make a whole thing of it. You go to the game, go hang out afterwards, all that stuff. But like in person, that's the game that I want to experience. And those are probably the most lively games. Like the atmosphere is crazy in the stadium.
Okay.
Right?
Okay. A lot of competition on a Friday night, though.
A lot of competition, but if you think about it, like in terms of broadcasting, historically, the strongest day of the week in which you have the most competition on television is Thursdays, right?
Really?
Yeah. Fridays, they don't put anything on. They kind of throw you to the wolves. If you have a TV show, if you're an executive producer of a TV show, and the programming department schedules your show for Friday at 8 p.m., you're like, the network doesn't like my show, man.
Oh, really? Oh,
Yeah,
wow.
they're trying to burn me,
Wow.
And Saturdays are even worse.
Hmm.
It's Sundays, Mondays, and Thursdays. Those are like those are those sweet spots.
Hmm.
You're not trying to give the NBA the worst days of the week, but all this, it could be any day. But what I'm just saying is, like, you want to find specific days of the week that become it's appointment viewing, right? Okay, I know that on this day I get to watch basketball. Just like people are like, yo, Sundays 1:00 till 9. Don't bother me.
Yeah, straight football. Yeah,
I'm watching football all day.
yeah, yeah.
You know?
Well, and it would be smart for the NBA to create some sort of culture like that too, right?
Yeah. And honestly, I think you go 2 days a week, you give the fans an opportunity to miss you. You're not oversaturated. You add more value to each game. And honestly, if the current advertising structure is like the revenue barrier, then the NBA could just increase their what do you want to call it? The CPP for ad buys, like the cost per purchase. The league will probably end up making more money anyway because the broadcasts won't be oversaturated. They would most likely have more viewers per game, which advertisers love to hear. Fans are more selective because of a greater selection, especially during these dog days. So I think you just trim it down, make each game matter more. But anyway, Bigums, I love the idea of an IST at this point in the season, but I like I like a shorter season. I like the tournament idea. Tournament idea. We will pause there. All right. And I will just say this. Bigums from Thousand Oaks, California. Appreciate your question, man. Always appreciate your questions, Bigums. Quick reminder to High and Low Lives, if you want to leave a question just like Bigums did, all right, send your DM to us on TikTok at More High and Low, or you can send it to us on Instagram at Get High and Low. Links are always in the show notes. It's time for us to take a quick break so we can catch our flight to Love Hate Island. And when Ugo and I come back, we're telling you what we hate and love about the NBA. This is High and Low. This is High and Low. It's not this Zion Low. This is this is High and Low. We'll be right back.
We'll be right back.
Welcome back. I'm Ike Amaechi. He's Ugo the Sheik, and this is High and Low. We're on Love Hate Island. That's where we are. The sun is hot. The breeze is calm but cool. The water's so teal it's glowing. I don't know if you've seen that before, but I just watched Migration with my kids, and they were all trying to migrate to Jamaica, and everyone's talking about this glowing sea, glowing water.
Yeah, I remember that with remember in The Simpsons with the three-eyed fish, right?
Yeah, not that kind of glow. Maybe on the hate side, maybe there is that kind of glow. I don't know. But on this side of the island, the water's beautiful, man. It's calm. It's like when I went to Barbados and I was on the Caribbean side of the island. It was just calm, teal, beautiful, serene, tranquil water. And then on the Atlantic side, it was just rough, and that's where everyone went to surf. So, maybe it's like that. Anyway, the sand here on Love Hate Island is beautiful. It's not too hot. It's just warm, kind of hugs your toes. Conditions are perfect on this island, at least on this side. So while we're on this side, let's start with what we love about the NBA right now. So what do you currently love about the NBA?
I had to think about this one too. So, I love that the NBA has been more parity in the NBA. Like, you still have your god awful teams like Detroit, but we've kind of moved into an era where you don't really see like historically bad teams for like decades on end, right? Aside from Detroit. So like, Sacramento, right? Sacramento used to be the doormat of the NBA. Now they're actually an exciting team that people enjoy watching, right? Indiana is super exciting, right? And the NBA has been really doing a good job of, propping up those teams and shining some media light on them. But I find there seems to be a really good level of parity, or at least less historically bad teams. Like I remember, how many years ago was it when you used to see like 4, 5, 6, 7 teams with like 20 wins type nonsense, and you're like, wow, like you've lost every game against everybody multiple times, you know. So that's what I do like about the NBA, that it's definitely there's more parity. Not perfect yet, Detroit, but there is parity.
I think parity in the NBA is perfect, but more on that later. More on that later.
Okay, next, what's his name? With this back to me.
Okay, so let me just jump into this love fest. For me, what I currently love about the NBA is the scoring boom.
Okay.
Right? Now, everyone's talking about the league's scoring explosion this year. Of the top 10 teams in points per game, I think only one team, which is, you just mentioned them, the Sacramento Kings. They're the only team that's down in scoring in comparison to last year. But they're still a top 10 team in scoring. Only 9 teams across the entire league are down year over year, which includes teams like Portland, Memphis, and Charlotte. Right, biggest drops in that category.
Yeah, Charlotte's another bad team.
Yeah. For many reasons. And individual scoring is like peaking. Like 70 piece in 2024 is equivalent to hanging 50 on a team in 2002. 60 points barely gets you a headline. Averaging 30 a game this season is good enough for 4th, maybe 5th on the scoring list. That's crazy. And as much as I appreciate a well-balanced meal of offense and defense, the scoring boom honestly has saved me from completely ignoring the NBA's regular season. Just to kind of go back to that earlier conversation, because I'll tune in to watch Luka put up 70 on a random Tuesday night. To me, it adds to the experience. You know, I'm here for a 60-point game by Cat, even if Chris Finch is going to curse him out on the sideline for it. Give me that. Give me all of that, especially in March, because nothing else matters, right? It will, but not right now. And let me watch Embiid give Wemby a 70 piece, just out of principle. Love it. Because the NBA was built on the backs of stars and star performances. Think back, Jordan's 69 points in March 1990, Kobe's 81, January 2006 on the Raptors, Steph's 62 points in January 2021, James Harden, multiple 60-point games in 2019, Bird 60 in 1985. Like, these are iconic games that people will remember for years to come. So, yeah, I mean, I respect the opinions of traditionalists. Again, I appreciate a well-balanced game, but the infusion of scoring, much needed. That's what keeps me interested at certain points of the season, like now. So I love it for the NBA right now.
Okay. No, that's a good one.
Before we go to hate,
okay,
let's just take a quick break.
Okay.
So we can catch the Uber and head over to the other side of the island. All right? We don't have to hail a cab here. Just catch an Uber. We'll be right back with more High and Low.
All right, you guys, what's next?
Welcome back. I'm Ike Amaechi, not Mike Amaechi. I'm Ike Amaechi. He's Ugo the Sheik, and this is High and Low. So here on Love Hate Island, it's not completely out of the ordinary to see sudden changes in weather conditions. You can go from tranquility to chaos, faster than Kanye can go from Kim Kardashian to Bianca Censori during a custody switch. It's crazy. And just like Ye's feelings for Kim, we're on the darker side of the island, the hate side. So, Ugo, what do you hate about the NBA right now?
Oh, I hate a lot of things right now. Okay, I'm gonna go into the light stuff and then get into the deeper stuff.
Okay.
I hate the game that Philadelphia is playing right now. I truly believe that the league needs to investigate. I think there's some shenanigans going on in Philly. I think Embiid can play, but I think they're holding on so that they can have a playoff run. Don't trust it. Don't trust it. Don't trust it. That's the first one.
Wow.
The second thing I hate is the narratives that, aside from TNT, because I think they're still the best in the business, but all the other ones, when they build up these narratives of these pregame things where they're talking about stats, Luka Doncic scores X amount of points, but Jokic, she's on pace to do this and blah 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 blah. And then even when they talk to players, hey, I'm just trying to get in here, get some buckets, trying to help my team to win. Like, it is so, like, I don't even call it a gentleman's game, but it's so bland. And it's hypocrisy. Because I guarantee you, when you go to a live game, they're talking trash to each other non-stop, right? And I get it. Little Johnny might not want to hear some swear words or whatnot, but, like, build it up like it's an actual rivalry, right? Build it up like, hey, man, you put 30 on me the last game. Well, I'm coming back to get revenge. Let's see if it happens, right? Weave a story. I don't want to hear about two guys in the gym, they both used to play in Yugoslavia, and now they're living their dream in the NBA, and we get to watch. Gosh, Willikers, wow, look at that.
In that voice,
no.
in that perfect voice.
No. Just build up some form of excitement. I do not want to see, like, listen, I appreciate the stats, right? I appreciate them. Trust me. Steph Curry was averaging 30 games with the fewest free throws he's ever been, like less than 3 or 4 or whatever it all. That's great, right? But tell me about when somebody was talking smack to him and he had to make him realize, I'm Steph Curry. You know what I mean? Like, that resonates more with me than some, I don't know, listen, we like our numbers and our stats, Mitch. But it's not going to sell me. Don't sell me. Like it's not going to get me in there. Like, I need my thick glasses and no, I don't want that. You know what I mean? Give me something that makes me stay there and say, I'm rooting for you. I want you to beat this guy. If you don't beat this guy, then I'm not dealing with you anymore. I'm going somewhere else. Pause.
All right, you guys, what's next?
Perfect segue, because I agree with you, but I think there's a reason for that. And that brings me to my point about what I hate about the NBA right now. And it also circles back to one thing you said earlier about parity. Now, I love the concept of parity, but I hate the results of parity. You gotta hear me out here.
Okay.
I'm gonna take you on a little bit of a trip. So, we witnessed the collective moan during the Warriors dynasty. We heard the same moan when Shaq and Kobe Lakers were dominant. The same moans we all heard during the Jordan years. If the dominant team isn't your team, then the product stinks, right? The league is trash. That's just how people are.
Yeah.
When LeBron was up, Kobe and Jordan fans were wearing their perpetual stink face. Ever since the Raptors took the title in 2019, we've seen a different champion every year. So parity is alive and well in the NBA.
We've talked about that. Right?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So now I want to dive a little deeper. Just peel the layers and just go beyond that. Let's look at the talent structure in the NBA. And this is where I'm going to start to broach on what you're talking about. You have enough top talent in the league to have, say, like 1 to 2 stars in each market. The level of the star varies, but they're better than the average nonetheless.
Correct.
You compare that to the 90s, the 80s, the 70s, where you would have maybe 20 top players, maybe 20 elite players, all-stars leading the top teams. And then you would have mid-tier players featured on the bottom like 10, 12 teams.
Yep.
Like, let's pick a year, 1991, right? First year in the Bulls dynasty. Best teams in the league, Bulls, Celtics, Pistons, Lakers, Blazers, Spurs, the Rockets, Suns, right? Yep. And you can rhyme off Utah. Yeah, you can rhyme off the stars on those teams. Hall of Famers, right? Jordan, Bird, Magic, Isaiah, Barkley, Drexler, Hakeem, elite players. And then you had teams like Sacramento, Charlotte, New Jersey, Golden State, Washington, the Clippers, Mavericks, Timberwolves. These teams were led by players like Wayman Tisdale.
Who the hell is that?
Okay. When I say led, these were the stars of these teams. Wayman Tisdale in Sacramento, right? Ron Harper and Charles Smith in the Clippers, on the Clippers side of LA, right? I got another one for you. Tony Campbell was the star of the Minnesota Timberwolves in 1991.
Who the hell is that?
Ronnie Cycli was running things in Miami in 1991, right? Sam Bowie and Dennis Hobson in New Jersey, right? And there are so many more of players like this on teams like that. The league was full of these mid-tier pseudo stars. These guys were getting the green light on their respective teams and leading them to mediocrity at the best. None of these names ring bells because none of these guys were winning rings. So fast forward to today, where each roster has, again, 1 to 2 guys who can legitimately be an all-star, maybe an all-NBA selection.
Yep.
You know, great for parity, but horrible for the market, the local fans. Like, look at the NFL. NFL excels at making money, but the NBA, they excel at making stars, making icons. This is what the NBA has been doing since Magic and Bird. The league has turned so many guys into stars, celebrities, that they have empowered their stars, especially during this talent boom. So top players, they all know their value, but they don't know their place. Back in the day,
good point.
Back in the day, those names I mentioned to you, the Tony Campbells, the Wayman Tisdales, they knew their role. They knew their role in the pecking order in the league. They knew that they had no shot at the title. They're not going to lead the Sacramento Kings to the finals, the playoffs even. Wayman Tisdale, I keep blaming Wayman, even Tony Campbell. These guys aren't going to win awards, all NBA selections. They weren't expecting those top accolades.
Yeah,
if they got
week.
Yeah. If they got a sniff, they were grateful. They're like that awkward nerd who finally got a study date with the head cheerleader.
There you go.
If he gets a sniff, he's grateful. He's grateful for the opportunity. I'm glad to be in the room, man. I know. Is that Head and Shoulders? That smells good, right? These mid-tier guys, happy to be there, stayed in their market for as long as they were able to, as long as they were welcomed, and collected the money they were paid and were grateful for that money. Today, every star thinks he deserves a max contract at the very least.
Yeah, very true.
And because they think that, any of these guys can up and leave for the money at any given time, which is why you don't have loyalty. You don't have as many guys who stay with one team for most of their career. This is the difference. This is the change. This is the result of parity. And this is why the NBA fans follow players, not teams.
Very true.
Right? There's little consistency, right? You can even track it to the All-Star game. Guys flip from East to West. They're changing teams. They flip from East to West so often that there's no meaning in the All-Star game. Imagine if guys like KD and LeBron stayed in their respective conferences for most of their careers. You could actually have real heat in the All-Star game. Some rivalries.
Yeah.
But
that's true.
Anyway, we don't want to get into the All-Star game.
That's for another day.
Yeah, but I like the talent boom, but I'm not a fan of the results in this context. So,
That's a good one. No, that's a good one. Makes sense. And you're true about the guys on who have no business being max players. They just know they tick those tick those boxes, and they know, I can bounce. Another team will pay it, right?
Exactly.
Like, you know exactly what you're getting, no matter where you go. Doesn't matter. Like it just matters. Like the Larry Bird rule, right? That's the only one that matters more for players. But if they really don't want to stay where they want to stay, Pascal Siakam, they don't care. They'll just go wherever, right? Because they know, I know wherever I go, I'm going to get X amount. I don't even have to dispute it. It's not even a matter of me proving I should get it. No, I already meet the criteria. I'm good. And that's it. Right? Whereas in the NFL, it's like, oh, well, statistically, you got to prove to me that you're the best. Right?
Exactly.
If you're not, we're not having a conversation. And even if you are, I don't know. You know, maybe it was just a weird year that you did so well. Maybe I got to see it a couple of times. Right?
And if they think they are, in the NFL, they're like, fine, go find the money somewhere else. And you know what? They probably won't.
Yeah, they won't. Nobody else is going to pay it.
But in the NBA, these top guys, I'll say top guys in air quotes, they can actually go and find the money. Because a team is like, oh, we have the money. We have to spend it. We have to give this max contract to someone. So then you get a mid-tier guy who will sometimes get a contract. And listen, Jaylen Brown is one of my favorite players. Okay. I respect this kid like no other. And when I say he's one of my favorite players, not just because of what he does on the court, it's because of what he does off the court. This kid is so smart.
100. Yep, 100.
Like, I believe in Jaylen Brown more than I believe in any other player in the NBA. I think this guy's going to do great things as a man, right? But Jaylen Brown is not a $300 million basketball player.
I knew you said that.
He is not. All right, well, let's get off this island, man. It's getting late. We got to fly back to our families.
Why the I can't shoot 3-point shots?
That brings us to the end of this episode of High and Low. Thank you, Ugo. Appreciate it. And remember to subscribe to High and Low anywhere you find podcasts. Talking to you, the listeners, not Ugo. You already subscribed.
Yeah.
And make us a part of your weekly routine. You know where to find us. We're on Instagram. We're on TikTok. We're on X. And we're on YouTube. Links to those are always in the show notes. I promise you. So where can listeners find you, Ugo? Can they find you?
You can find me at whatever basketball court my daughter's hooping at. That's the only place you're going to see me at.
Perfect. And I'm gonna make sure that the weather's getting nice. I'm gonna get a hoop for the driveway. For
there
these
you
kids.
go. There you go.
You know, I think that might be the flex, the move.
And you got that incline, so watch the knees and the calves.
Yep. They will. Their legs, their muscles are gonna build up fast.
Oh yeah.
You gotta run uphill just to do a layup.
Yeah. Exactly.
Hey, once again, music is by Live of the Enjoy Music Group. You can find Live on X and on Instagram at LYVE. Music or additional music is by Sonny Rockwell of The Goodness. Can't find that guy anywhere. Sound design is by Vaughn August. This is a Vaughn Abraham podcast, just in case you didn't know. So on behalf of Ugo the Sheik, I'm Ike Amaechi. Thank you for listening to High and Low this week. And we'll talk to you next week.
You know, if Wayman Tisdale played in Toronto, they'd probably call him Wasteman Tisdale.
Wasteman Tisdale.
Wasteman or Wasteman Tisdale.